The St. Helens International Festival of Trails, or SHIFT if you're lucky enough to attend, is a bike riding trail building extravaganza Northwest Trail Alliance organizes every summer on the south side of Mount St. Helens. Taking place over the span of 3 nights, the Forest Service makes this one special exception for SHIFT, allowing organizers and participants to set up camp for the 3 nights within and around the periphery of the Marble Mountain Snow Park. People bring their RVs and Sprinter vans, as well as tents that can be set up just off the pavement in the surrounding woods. They're here to build, ride, and camp, and that's what they do. I arrived at SHIFT at 8:45 a.m. Friday morning, having been warned that many of these rides are notorious for leaving right on time. I've already suffered through the Ape Canyon Smith Creek Loop once in my life, so I decided to ride a trail I've never seen before, the Tootle Trail, from Red Rock Pass up past Blue Lake to Sheep Canyon. This ride, as well as much of the SHIFT event, was organized by Jim Lamons, otherwise referred to as Jeep. A well-known figure in the Southwest Washington mountain biking community, Jeep has a reputation for organizing massive work parties to build trail in the Longview area, and he's known for getting a lot of work out of the participants. Luckily for me, he was our tour guide for this particular ride. If you haven't seen this side of Mount St. Helens, you really should. I mean, check out the views from this lava field. I'm not going to go into too much detail about the Tootle Trail here, other than to tell you to ride it. I'll do a formal review of it later. One of the best reasons to come to SHIFT is the guided rides. People like Jeep will show you around the various trails in the forest, being kind and stopping at intersections so you don't get lost or feel left behind. One of the big focuses of SHIFT is improving some of the local ski trails so that they're rideable during the summer.
We're trying to open up. The Forest Service will let us, they call them mountain bike accessible trails, meaning if we clean them up, like these ski trails, we can ride on them. Well, they are a little raw, but something's better than nothing. So we're going to be working on this trail. Kelly's crew's starting here, Dave's crew's coming toward them, and then we have 4 crews working down on a 2-mile section down that way. So anyway, this is kind of the area we're concentrating on, and over on the other side of camp too.
These trails look almost rideable as is, but they do still need some clearing and tread work to be proper bike trails. These trails are a worthwhile addition to the mountain biking opportunities up here on the south side of St. Helens because they add some much needed miles through a very unique patchwork of ecosystems and landscapes. St. Helens is probably the second most accessible high Cascade peak next to Mount Hood. It's not super remote or locked down by national park or wilderness designations, so you can put your bike wheels on some pretty unique alpine volcanic landscape. There are also some patches of old-growth hemlock along some of these trails that you'll never see from the road or probably anywhere else unless you come here. They're huge, just like on Ape Canyon, but in less steep terrain. Another reason to come to SHIFT is you'll improve your riding skills, especially if you're on a guided ride.
Even though it's not a
so you want to keep, you don't want to push down on the front end, but you want to keep a strong front tire. When you pick that line,
so you don't hit the rocks.
Stay back on your bike.
Well, not only the rocks, but sometimes it gives you that little extra oomph to go up and over.
The landscape is pretty varied on this side of the mountain. If you've seen my Ape Canyon review, you already know what the mountain looks like on its southeast side. It's also a good idea to get out here to the south-southwest side and see the stunning uniqueness this side of the mountain has to offer. Nothing is ever the same on this ever-changing landscape. It's lava rock, ash, sand, gravel, old forest, new forest, dead forest, and open meadows. You'll see it all on this side of Mount St. Helens, and at this year's SHIFT, there were plenty of opportunities for teamwork, camaraderie, and adventure.
I never go. Leslie, do you like it over here? Isn't this a cool area?
It's awesome,
isn't it? We're going to go up. There's really nice trees like this for about, I always say, if Little Joe and Haas knew how to ride, this is how it'd be like riding on the Ponderosa. But we're going to go over and then we're going to kind of go down a creek bed the last 1.5 miles or so over to Blue Lake. And so it's rocky and a little bit loose going over that way.
The week before, she didn't want to race, and she totally posted the times of all the pro wins.
Nice work. Here, I'm gonna jump out on that, and then we're gonna make a.
Okay. You guys just dump your bike in the middle of the river.
Okay, it's gonna move.
Let's start handing bikes, okay? You Ben, stay there. You give Ben yours, and then you go back and get Liz's, and we'll just start.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh, we want to take a chain reaction here? This looks light. It's not. I know.
You guys, after this bike, hold on to that bike for a second.
Yeah.
Arriving back at Marble Mountain, we had some time to decompress and set up camp, and then there was a dinner of burgers and brats cooked by the NWTA volunteers. There was also more than enough beer. We hung out around the propane fire until 11 o'clock, talking about how much we love mountain biking and trail building, getting ourselves stoked for the next morning. Saturday morning dawned cool and misty, which was perfect because you couldn't ask for better trail building weather. Some crews were up early and already out on the trail by 8:30.
We're gonna have this epic work party. He's filming us.
Yes, and then there's Jerry's crew. There's always the work crew, and then there's Jerry's crew.
So now, we're dropping into hell. It's hell. Chances of survival are very slim. Did you bring some food? Cooking utensils? You know, all that stuff. Anyway. Overnight survival gear. Yes. So we are dropping into Smith Creek, and it should be an epic work party. And if we survive, we're a team. All right, everybody.
They did drop into hell, but more on that later. We were on our own for breakfast while we unloaded tools from the trailer, and then at 9 o'clock a.m., the safety speeches began.
If my memory serves me correctly, this is the 8th or 9th year that we've been doing this event with the Northwest Trails Alliance. It's kind of shifted a little bit, but really, really grateful that you guys are all out here today. Couple really important safety concerns. Nothing here is worth anybody getting hurt. Take your time.
We in the Southwest Washington mountain biking community cannot thank the Forest Service and local law enforcement enough for their continued presence and their ongoing coordination and support of our events. This is huge, and we wouldn't be able to do all this great work without help from the Forest Service and local officials. After representatives from the Forest Service spoke, we needed to do a little more mountain bike specific safety talk. We take safety seriously at all work parties.
But there's basically what happens in trail building, I've noticed, is everyone's all excited and they get really close to each other, and as the day progresses they get closer and closer, and everybody is pretty soon at the end of the day within feet of each other, and that's when people get hurt. Because you're tired, you want to get done, you want to get back and have the great barbecue we're having and all the rest of it.
After the safety talk, everyone was assigned to work crews. It was a well-organized, welcoming event, and no one was left wondering what they were doing or where they were supposed to go. Also, some people are very proud of their tools.
What you got there, Jansky?
Okay.
It's the Trail Boss.
I like it. Trail Boss?
It was a Trail Boss. It was a gift for being a good volunteer.
Oh.
That's why you need to volunteer.
So then we broke off into our work crews, and foolishly, I decided to catch up with Jerry D's work crew first. Jerry has a bit of a reputation around these parts as well. Everyone knows that Jerry's work crews work hard, and they work for a long time, and they get a lot done. Today was no exception, and if I'd been smart about it, I would not have descended into Ape Canyon to check on his crew.
All right, it's 10 a.m. on Saturday morning. This is work party day. So I'm actually on the Forest Service Road on my way to the Ape Canyon trailhead to see if I can catch up with Jerry D's work party. He's down in Smith Creek. And then I'm gonna try to pop back over and see if I can come across some of the work parties on the Kalama Ski Trail. So this should be an exciting day.
I did not make the Kalama Ski Trail, or any other work sites for that matter. Instead, I descended past Jerry and Jamie's trucks at the end of this old Forest Service road, the route out of Smith Creek Canyon, to try to catch up with Jerry's crew. Alas, they were not easy to find. This road is fun to ride down, but it is not a fun climb out, and it is one of the major reasons many people only ever ride the Ape Canyon Smith Creek loop once in their life, and then never again. It took me forever to find these guys down here in the Smith Creek Canyon. This was no easy task, and I wasn't even hauling any digging gear. It was just me and my camera, and this was starting to wear me out. It's a lot of deep and dark forest in here, with the trail following an old logging road and then veering up into the woods at intervals and then back to that logging road. It's kind of like a river trail, but with lots and lots of pumice. Lots of pumice. Seriously though, I was starting to wonder if I would ever find these guys.
Aha! I found their vehicles. They can't be far off. Look at that. It's gotta be like, what, 60 pounds of gear, 70 pounds of gear in that bob trailer? They could totally ambush me right now. Aha, there they are. Oh, sorry. Oh my gosh.
I didn't have a tool in my hand.
I'm glad I didn't mean to scare you.
Seriously, don't sneak up on Andrea. Anyhow, never forget how easy it is to accidentally sneak up on someone when you're on a bike. I'd only found half the work crew at this point. How far off could Justin and Jamie be? I expected to encounter them like after maybe a couple miles at the most.
Right here, getting into some climbing. So they're gonna have to do this full climb to wherever they cut and climb back out. That is some dedication.
I even passed over the infamous knife edge, which no longer looks this treacherous because Jerry and Andrea got to it after I left. Finally, I found them. After 9 miles, I found Justin and Jamie hanging out right here at the bottom of the switchbacks, chatting with the rider finishing the loop on his own.
Yeah, so I'm on, the camera's on now, but so I just turned it on. So I am at mile 8.9 right now, coming up into Smith Creek Canyon, and I was expecting to see these guys much sooner. Because it is 12:30, my guess is that's probably quitting time for everybody else. They're probably already back at the campsite. So sorry I didn't get video of your work sites, guys, but yeah, Justin and Jamie are like, hey. So you guys have not started even digging yet, right?
Oh, we're not even halfway.
Yeah, we figured we were gonna go as far as we could while it was nice and cool, and then do the most of the work in the, in the heat of the day when it's more shaded.
Yeah, totally. So Justin, you've got a McLeod in your backpack. Yeah. Is it just one of those folding McLeods? Or?
No, it's just really, it's a 3-piece McLeod. It's not mine. It's Jerry, the writer's. But
because Jerry has everything under the sun.
He has everything. But it's a 3-piece.
Is that Jerry's Silky too?
Yeah, you can put a Pulaski on it, a shovel,
dude,
a McLeod head.
Nice.
And I just brought the McLeod and the shovel.
Cool.
And it's awesome. We tested it on Falls Creek. I chopped the roots out with that McLeod, like swinging it.
So it's worth to what? They're like $500 or $600.
Yeah, they're almost $600.
Is it made of tie? Is it like?
No, it's heavy. It's really heavy.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah.
Aluminum and steel.
Oh,
yeah.
that's why you joked about your pack being so heavy. I was like,
whatever you wuss.
So. Yeah, I was originally going to get every other work site, but I thought I should get this one because this is the most hardcore group.
That's right.
Wait,
yeah,
nice, got a high five. And not only are we 8.9, so we're 9 miles in, but you guys have done 750 feet of climbing already. And let's remind everybody, while I'm reminding you at the same time, that means that you have to do 1,100 feet to get back out on that Forest Service road.
We didn't tell her that.
Thank you.
No. No.
Wait, I thought I was getting a ride.
She didn't notice she was going downhill for 1,100 feet. No, not at all. Well, anyway, awesome hardcore work crew. If I get back to the campsite in time, maybe I'll get some of the other ones.
Awesome.
All right, thanks guys.
Yeah.
I absolutely did not get back to the campsite in time. Not at all. But I did leave these two to their work, and when I got back to the creek crossing, I came across Jerry and Andrea again, trying to cut a notch in this old growth log to make it easier to climb over. After this, they continued to the knife edge to smooth it out. As for me, once I started climbing the old Forest Service road back out of the canyon, I did finally get tired of not doing any trail work today, so I threw a couple of sticks. You're welcome, everyone. The Ape Canyon, Lava Canyon trailheads were ridiculously crowded on my way out of the parking lot. I've never seen them like this. By 5:30 p.m. on Saturday, most of the trail crews were finally back, with the notable exception of Jerry D's crew, of course. People were milling around, eating appetizers, and waiting until about 6 p.m. when dinner was served. And what a dinner it was, with brisket and pulled pork and potato salad and regular salad and appetizers. This wasn't just like a catered or like reheated dinner that they ordered in. No, this was made on site in the smoker. The folks who run shift know how to have a good time, and extra special kudos and accolades go out to the cooking crew who made this possible. After dinner, we were able to reflect on the day and what got done.
So what did we get done today, guys?
Well, we had a lot of fun. There was a lot of trail building going on today. We had a very well organized group with a lot of different people spread out all throughout the trail system here, from the Marble Mountain Smith Creek area down to the Kalama ski trail, to the Fur ski trails, and the Pine Martin ski trails, right, Andy? Yeah. And now we're about to, well, we actually just got done with a big barbecue. Our friend Charlie back here just cooked a killer meal. Really killer meal, actually.
Oh, that was good. It was good.
Yeah.
The brisket was to die for. Well, so was the pulled pork, yeah.
Hopworks beer, thank you.
And the meal was with Psychopath provided sponsorship for the meal.
Yeah, Psychopaths has been a great sponsor of ours, and they've been very supportive every year and like to be involved. They actually bring the Pivot demo bikes over here. That's really fun. I got to ride a sweet bike yesterday. That was fun.
Oh, that was Psychopath, the Pivots?
Yep.
Nice.
So, yeah.
Oh,
they're one of the local sales reps in Northeast Portland, off MLK, if I recall.
Also after dinner, the last work crew finally rolled in, and I was able to catch up with Justin, one of the work crew members, on how far he got up the trail.
So how far did you make it from there?
I went all the way to the top, to the pavement.
All the way to the top?
Yeah.
This dude went all the way to the top. And you weren't just doing tread work either, were you, right?
No, I did about 3.5 hours of brushing.
He did 3.5 hours of brushing. So it is now 7 o'clock, and I'm holding him back. I mean, so he finally got back here. It's 7 o'clock with Jerry, who was also working down there. So this is absolutely insane. So you're a badass. You get the badass of the trip award. I don't know if that's a real thing, but in any case, I'm going to stop holding Justin here because he needs to get some food in him.
Sounds good.
And some beer. Sweet.
There was a raffle as well. Thanks to Hopworks, there was more than enough beer. Seriously, we had a lot of beer. Also, Andy Jansky set up a generator and a movie screen, and we watched biking videos. Then we all sat around the fire again until about 11 at night. The weather was perfect. The campfire was awesome. The conversation was even better. On Sunday morning, it was time for more riding. So really, even though this is commonly perceived as a work party, you're only actually digging for one of the 3 days. And as long as you're not on Jerry's work crew, you may not even dig for that long. Many hands make light work after all. That said, there was another work crew that went over to the other side of the mountain who also left early, rode 4 miles in, walked another mile, and then started digging. So there's torture available for all levels of masochist at this event. But most importantly, it was an opportunity to ride bikes and get to know and/or bond with other mountain bikers from the area. There were a lot of people from the Portland area, a crew from Longview, and there was even a rider from Seattle. This is a hugely rewarding event, a good time, and it gets a lot of much needed work done on the trails around Mount St. Helens, adding yet more biking mileage to the Gifford-Pinchot National Forest, the most underrated forest in the Pacific Northwest. A special thanks goes out to Charlie Biggs for coordinating all the food preparation, Sharon Staridi and Amy Wilson from the U.S. Forest Service for working through all the paperwork to make this happen, as well as overseeing recreation in the Gifford-Pinchot National Forest, Andy Crump for all the logistics and paperwork, Ben Milstein and Andy Jansky for the fun movies and fun activities, Jim Jeep Lamons for the ride planning, and last but most importantly, Vaughn Martin, the trail architect extraordinaire who brought the overarching vision for all of this madness and knows these trails inside and out. It was a fantastic event this year, and we can't wait to see you all here next year. Now, until then, get out there and go ride your bike.